So we've been talking about intentions. It's the first of the year, and we're a week into it. And most people this time of year set intentions, goals, resolutions. And the good news is, a week into it, most of us are still on track. The bad news is, 2 weeks from now, 30% of all intentions, goals, and resolutions go down the tube. People just forget about them. The worst news is 6 months from now, like 70% go down the tube. We talk a lot about why that has happened, but what it amounts to is our thought process. We begin to think the limiting thoughts. We begin to think of things that these goals are too big. They're too difficult. That means change, and I want to resist change. There are just so many things that we think that stop us. And it's not just intentions, this happens everywhere. Anytime we allow the beliefs of our physical mind to create our reality, we're cheating ourselves. But more than that, we're cheating others. We're cheating the people around us. We're cheating the world. Now, since we're talking about intentions, you see the title of this talk being spiritual expression. It's like, okay, how does this all fit together? Everything you do, whether it's an intention, a thought, a communication with someone else, is an expression. So we're going to tie all of this together today. Last week I asked you guys to consider accepting an intention that I gave you. I'm not going to ask who did. I'm not going to ask how it's going. I'm just going to repeat what that request was. That request was to set intentions to deepen your realization of the presence of God within. The reason I asked you to do that is because the presence of God, or the God presence within, is the most powerful healing agency to the mind of man. Now, that's pretty cool. I mean, that tells you right there that sickness has no power over you, illness has no power over you, injury has no power over you. The presence of God, the God presence, is the most powerful healing agency in the world, in the mind of man, anywhere in the universe. But we can remember also that healing is not limited to our physical well-being. Healing can be anything. It is in everything that we do. When we move from that material realization, that material perception, into the spiritual perception, we have now moved into a spot where divine healing takes place. Healing can be an expanding of a beautiful experience. And we think that healing has to be something that only works with something that's broken or ill or messed up. It can be just the transformation or transcendence of a beautiful experience into another. Healing is just moving into a higher expansion, elevation, into truth. Anytime we move from the perception of material truth into the spiritual truth, the knowing of spiritual truth, we have experienced healing, no matter what it involves. So when we deepen our realization of God in all our intentions, our goals, our resolutions, we elevate and we expand our intentions. Most of us set intentions on that human level. We look at what we can do as a human, and we set intentions there. I'm going to tell you something that I've realized. Most of us aren't even living up to that potential. Most of us don't even do what we can do as a human. Not all of us. There's some people out there excelling. But our human self is capable of a lot more than a lot of us are doing. And when I say us, I mean me. I'm there with you. But here's the great thing about it is we're not limited there. We're not even limited at our greatest human potential. We have the divine potential that we can tap into, that we are part of, that we are one with, that we can use. And it happens when we practice spiritual expression. Most people think of spiritual expression as, oh, I'm going to be more loving today. I'm going to smile more today. I'm going to be grateful today. It's all of that, but it's more. It's more. When you perceive whatever you're doing as God presence, God expression, you open your awareness. You get to see beyond this material world. Sure, we still enjoy the things of this material world, but we're seeing beyond. And in that, our intentions elevate and expand. As I was working on this, I ran across a quote again that I think I've used it here before, but it's been a while. And it speaks to this. The quote is from Mary Baker Eddy from Science and Health. And it says, when mortal man blends his thoughts of existence with the spiritual and works only as God works, he will no longer grope in the dark and cling to the earth because he has not tasted heaven. What she's telling us is as long as we stick to this human understanding as our only understanding, as long as we act from this human ability as our only ability, we are cheating ourselves of experiencing the goodness. We're cheating ourselves of experience heaven right here and right now. She also is saying that we have the ability to work as the divine. Don't have to stop with what I can do with this physical body. Now here's the great thing about it. You know, we think that if I want to have world peace, and if that's my intention, is to manifest world peace. It's a beautiful intention, but if I have that intention and my goal is to do it by myself, probably not going to happen. I may find a way to create a peaceful experience of the world within me, but if I want world peace, no more war, I've got to do something more than what this body is capable of doing, no matter how great that is. I've got to work with the divine. And part of that is the divine puts in place the things that are needed to make it happen. You might run across somebody who has a brilliant idea along the same lines that without you, it couldn't happen. You know, we just this ability, this potential is as infinite as God. We think that there are limits, and we like to even create limits in our lives. We don't think we are. We don't think that we're doing it on purpose, but we are. It's because of our thoughts. It's because of our thoughts. There was a time when people thought the world was flat. There was a time when people believed they could not fly. There was a time that people believed communication with someone beyond a shouting distance was impossible. That was until somebody thought differently. Somebody expanded their thinking. Every single day, you use many things that were once thought impossible. But here's the kicker. Every single day, you do something that was once thought impossible. So now we're bringing all of this into, in my opinion, I think we're bringing it all into a perspective right now because what was once thought impossible, I'm actually doing. You know, I remember one of my favorite comparisons was it took a warehouse full of computers to get the Apollo mission into space. And now the little phone that you carry is more powerful than that warehouse full of computers. So we've got these things that are happening. And we think that, oh, okay, well, this is just these high-tech dudes that are really brilliant. The idea starts somewhere. And the idea is the divine. All thought that we have begins as divine inspiration, intuition, however you want to look at this thing coming to you. All thought. Because you think about that. Thought is nothing tangible. You can't smell it. You can't hear it. You can't see it. It's something that's happening up here in these neuro thing. I mean, we're receiving it somewhere up here with all these neurotransmitters, or whatever these things are called. But it's divine. All thought comes to us as divine intuition, divine expression. What happens is at that point, the humanness kind of takes over. And that's where we start putting our limits on it. So if you have a thought that you're going to be a millionaire by the end of this year, your humanness is probably going to start saying, oh, that's a big leap. That was a divine thought that came to you. Explore the divine process, the divine experience, the divine expression that comes along with that. Play with it. Do not limit it. It's up to each one of us to transcend our thoughts. That's what's happened with every invention that's ever happened. A thought came to someone, the humanness said, oop, that's probably impossible. Somebody said, maybe not. Let's do it. Same with your intentions. I talked to, I think it was last week or the week before, Mary Manning Morrissey has one of my favorite quotes. When you're setting your intentions, said it's so big, you've got to have divine assistance. Don't limit yourself to what this human body can do. Set those goals. Let those ideas come to you. Open yourself to receive that divine idea, that divine intuition. Open yourself up. Hear it. And then do not limit yourself. Think beyond those human beliefs. Russell Wilson, I believe was his name, the Seattle Seahawks quarterback, first or second year in the NFL, wins the Super Bowl. And his quote all along was from his dad, why not me? So if you have an idea that you think is bigger than you, remember, you're not alone. You are one with the infinite creator. You can use the power of creation to help you with this, to do this for you, to manifest exactly what you desire. Several years ago, there was a popular phrase that said, think outside of the box. I hated it because I'm sitting there thinking, why not get out of the box? So I'm challenging you today. If your thinking has you in a box, get out of it. Get out of that box. Think bigger. Think truth. Truth is you're one with God. As Mary Baker Eddy said over here, you can actually, let me find it because I don't want to misquote it. You can blend your thoughts with the spiritual and the works as God. You have no limits. Your intentions, your goals, your resolutions, whatever you've set for this year, know that they will manifest. Believe that they will manifest. Allow them to grow and expand and elevate as you are led by the divine. You're in constant communication. So let's end today with prayer, knowing that you are infinite potential. Father God, we take a pause from our day and we breathe. Breathing in, we open to God's love and peace, recognizing and embracing the God presence within and everywhere. We open awareness to our divine truth and our spiritual oneness with all. In this truth, we recognize the omniscience of you. We recognize the power that is you, and we recognize the ability to communicate, to experience, to express as you. In our expression, we know that it is divine, that it is spiritual. We express truth. With this, there are no impossibilities in our lives. There are no limits in our lives. There are no problems in our lives. We open to you. We listen. And we know that truth reigns completely in our lives. This prayer is made manifest already in our lives. And we open more fully each day to this truth. And so it is. Amen.